Europa Park in Rust, south of Germany, is considered to be one of the best theme parks in Europe and probably even the entire world. And with an impressive accumulation of 14 coasters, amazing theming and incredible environment, there really isn't much left to make this a perfect theme park. A few weeks ago I managed to get on every single coaster at the park apart from Atlantica Super Splash that was undergoing some maintenance on the drop. So in today's video I'm going to be ranking every single coaster at Europa Park. Coming in at number 14, we have, as you guessed it, Atlantica Super Splash, a Mack water coaster. This coaster features a 100-foot tall drop, 2 turntables, and a little airtime hill following the drop. Now, I actually haven't been on this coaster since 2017 due to some unexpected closures every single time when I'm at the park, and therefore I cannot rank it properly, hence its place at number 14. But from what I can remember, the drop has some decent airtime, and it actually is quite fun being dropped off backwards after that first turntable. Out of all the water rides that Europa Park has, Atlantica Super Splash is definitely the one you get most wet on. Like, I'm pretty sure I got drenched. Coming in at number 13, we have Ba-A-A Express, a steel kiddie coaster manufactured by Art Engineering. There really isn't anything to say about this ride as it is literally just a kiddie coaster. Coming in at number 12, we have Alpine Express, a basic Mack powered coaster, quite similar to Runaway Mine Train at Alton Towers. This family coaster has quite a simple layout with little to no forces. I mean, what do you expect? However, the overall setting and environment around this ride is quite aesthetic, and the coaster does weave in and out of some caves with a few smoke effects and gemstones in the walls, and also interacts with a nearby Tyrol log flume. As a whole, it does its job as a good family coaster. At number 11, it's Schweizer Bobbahn, a bobsled coaster manufactured by Mack Rides. This ride is mid as fuck, and it's definitely one of the weaker bobsleds out of the 6 still operating. Very mediocre forces, maybe a few positives during this helix here, but it just rattles the whole time, making the overall ride experience quite uncomfortable. Nevertheless, the coaster definitely meets its family demographic and fits in incredibly well into the Swiss area, in my opinion being one of the most beautiful areas in the park. Coming in at number 10, it's Pegasus, the Mack Rides family coaster, or as Mack like to call it, the Young Star coaster model. This ride is great for families or people looking to overcome their fear in roller coasters. It's got some decent airtime on the drop, and well, that's pretty much it. The rest of the layout is quite tame, with a few bank turns and into the brakes. I mean, what can I say? It does its job, and it's quite fun in the back row, to be honest. Coming in at number 9, we have Poseidon, another Mack water coaster. Built all the way back in 2000, Poseidon features 2 separate halves to the ride almost, with 2 separate splashdown landings. The first half of the ride is noticeably quite rough, whereby you get literally shaked during the turning drops. However, the airtime on the final drop into the final splashdown landing is actually quite decent, and the overall aesthetic of the ride is great. The track has a nice dark blue colour scheme, allowing it to fit really nicely into the grease area. At number 8, it's Matterhorn Blitz, the Park Wild Mouse. This coaster offers some decent laterals and a fun little layout, the theming mainly being based on Switzerland back in 1785, with families, barns, and weird looking animatronics. Then there's obviously that amazing soundtrack music. The coaster also features a vertical elevator lift, still themed to the animal barn that you see in the queue line. This ride is definitely towards the better end of most Wild Mouse coasters in my opinion, and it's just fun to go on and get the credit at the end of the day. Coming in at number 7, it's Euromir, a Mack spinning coaster. This coaster is pure vibes. With that Soviet space station theming and that memorable soundtrack, it almost makes you forget that the actual ride is torture. After that first drop, you best be bracing yourselves, otherwise you'll be coming off the coaster with broken ribs. Although, other than being rough, Euromir can actually get quite intense, especially during that helix towards the end of the layout. This ride is definitely very fun to do with a group of friends, and to be honest, I kind of over-exaggerated a bit. It's not that rough. Coming in at number 6, it's Arthur, a Mack suspended power coaster. The theming on this ride is next level. The coaster is entirely based off the French movie franchise Arthur. When the ride starts, it shows us shrinking down to the size of characters in the film, before then taking us through a layout filled with characters and animatronics from the films as well. There's honestly so much to look at, and the ambience and environment that the theme is able to create is just insane. A very unique coaster that I was sure to get on more than once. At number 5, we have Eurozat Cancan Coaster. I didn't realise how underrated this coaster was until I rode it after the retrack and retheme. The coaster is completely themed to French culture and executes that theming so well. The whole ride is completely indoors with some decent pops of airtime while maintaining a fast pace through the layout. The spiral lift hill going around the Eiffel Tower in combination with the lift hill music also sets the perfect atmosphere for the ride. Having ridden Eurozat before the retheme in 2017, I can safely say Cancan Coaster absolutely clears. This is by far one of my favourite indoor coasters I've ever been on. Coming in at number 4, we have Silver Star, the B&M Car Park Hypercoaster. This is one of 2 coasters in Europa Park not created by Mack Rides, and a lot of people actually have very mixed opinions on this, saying it's more towards the weaker end of most B&M hypers. It features a 240-foot tall drop before going into 2 massive camelbacks, giving some decent flow to airtime. Silver Star's second half is definitely much better, with the airtime being significantly stronger and the helix being quite forceful. In my opinion, Silver Star is definitely a back row ride, as you do get whipped down that drop, which I do love. And on the whole, the coaster is very, very fun. But there are 3 coasters that I prefer to this one, and one of them being Blue Fire Mega Coaster. This is Mack's first attempt at a thrill coaster and actually has been cloned quite a few times around the world. The coaster features a decently punchy launch into a tall overbanked curve, following with a 105-foot tall vertical loop. The inversions on this coaster are overall incredible, no matter the pace you're going through the map. The Heartline roll at the end of the layout is generally one of my favourite elements on a coaster ever. Blue Fire also has an insane head chopper that absolutely clears Swarm's massive sign. However, there are some parts of the layout that can be quite underwhelming, and the coaster isn't an S tier, but it just shows the potential of Mack Rides and how insane their coasters can be in the future of the company. Coming in at number 2, we have Woden Timber Coaster. This coaster already easily makes it into my top 10 and is my favourite wooden coaster out of all the ones I've been on. The drop is absolutely unreal, definitely the best drop in the park, offering strong ejector airtime no matter which row you sit on. Woden absolutely speeds through the rest of its layout, where the mix of strong lateral forces and quick pops of ejector and floater almost happen too quick that when you hit the brakes you have to process what just happened. Also, the experiences that you can get on this thing are insane. I did a back row night ride in the rain and it was one of the best rides I've ever gone on a roller coaster in general. I didn't even know what was happening half the layout. I haven't been on that many wooden coasters, especially GCI, but my expectations have been set rather high due to Woden. However, there is one coaster that I like even more at Europa Park, and that is Voltron Nivera, the new for 2024 Mack Striker Coaster. The first of what will be many Striker coasters, as I'm sure other parks will invest in a Mack product like this. To me, this coaster is perfection. From strong ejector airtime to immersed theming to insane launches and an incredible layout, this is what you would call a coaster that has the full package. I've honestly never experienced airtime like I've experienced it on Voltron. The beyond vertical launches are one of a kind experience that follows with an inverted top hat, providing amazing hang time. With some other Mack launch coasters, LSM launches have been on the weaker side, examples being Helix and Icon. However, with Voltron that is not the case at all, being significantly punchier, especially that final launch out of the turntable after the spike. In my opinion, this is a near perfect coaster that demonstrates the creativity of Europa Park theming with insane engineering of Mack Rides. And with that being said, I hope you all enjoyed today's video, and if you did, be sure to hit the subscribe button for more content like this, and I will see you all in the next video.